Hello everyone and welcome to the Unsaid Fled. So in this video we're going to be, or rather I'm going to be suggesting you some books that you can read if you are interested in Indian mythology, or if you want to develop your interest in Indian mythology, because it is I would say equally amazing as Greek mythology. Not that it's discussed that much, but yeah, it is interesting. So yeah, let's get started. The first book, or rather say the first series that I would suggest here is, it's quite predictable that I would go for this as the first one, is basically the Shiva Trilogy by Amish Tripathi. So it has 3 books, and the first one is The Immortals of Maluha, which became an instant hit, and second is The Secret of Nagas, followed by The Oath of Vayuputras. And all the 3 books are amazing, and this series is quite popular among the Indian readers, and this series was the reason that Amish Tripathi became quite a renowned author. So basically what you will find here is a retelling of all the myths that we have heard about Shiva, that he has a Neelkant, and that why do we say Har Har Mahadev, and all these things, they're just retold. Now, what makes these books unique? Because see, retellings are there everywhere. You would have, there are a lot of text which would tell us about the reasons behind certain myths, but these books are unique in the sense that they would tell us about gods from a very humanly perspective. They would not present gods as some very otherworldly beings. Rather, they would present gods as having very humanly emotions. The way we struggle with the emotions that we have, the same way gods are shown as struggling with their own emotions. So that's what makes these books unique, and this is there in the retellings of Greek mythology too. The ones that are really popular are popular because of, as far as I can comprehend, this is one of the reasons, because here when we read about gods, we're actually able to relate to them. And Shiva actually became one of the favorite mythological characters after I read this series, that is the Shiva Trilogy. So yeah, this is the first one. So next up in the suggestions we have The Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjee. This book is basically a retelling of Mahabharata, and Mahabharata in itself is a very complex text encompassing a wide range of emotions that we humans tend to feel. So there are 2 reasons that I've put this book over here, and there are 2 reasons actually that I find this book unique. The first one is that we might have heard quite a lot of times a saying that the lion never tells the story of the hunt. It is always the hunter that tells that how the hunt went. We never get to know about the fact that how bravely the lion must have fought against the hunter, right? So even when we look at our ancient texts, may it be Mahabharata, may it be Ramayana, or may it be any other ancient story, we find that there are a lot of such lions that have been ignored, and there are a lot of such lions whose stories need to be retold, and these modern retellings, they actually attempt to do the same, and this is what makes them amazing, I tell you. So this book in particular is doing the same. It is telling us about various characters who are not portrayed as the main heroes when we consider the original text, that is Mahabharata. So yeah, Mahabharata is equally amazing, but this text is equally amazing too. The second reason is that The Palace of Illusions is a retelling of Mahabharata from the perspective of Draupadi. Now this is a stunning thing, I tell you, because see, the story that we are talking about, or the narrative, is a very male dominated one. The world that we are discussing, the era that we are discussing, is a very male dominated era, and from there, when we are studying some story from the perspective of female, it makes it so amazing. And this book quite honestly explores all her emotions. This book explores Shikhandi too, not only Draupadi, and other characters also that have have not been given the attention that they need. So yeah, this is an amazing book, and again, the retellings, this is something special about them, that they tell us about these characters, about gods from a very humanly perspective, and then of course we're able to relate better. So yeah, this is the second one. Moving on, the third one that I have is again basically a detailed retelling of Mahabharata, I would say, and it is called Jaya by Devdutt Patnaik. So this book is not having actually a perspective. It is just simply retelling us about what happened in Mahabharata and what is the actual story behind certain myths. So yeah, it's very simple, and it uses certain pictures as well to tell you what is exactly happening. You know, when you read Mahabharata, we have a lot of questions in mind, that why did this happen, or you know, there are some curses or there are some prophecies that are discussed while you watch Mahabharata somewhere, or you read it, or you hear about it, but you do not know the exact reason for those prophecies. So this is what Jaya by Devdutt Patnaik does. It is quite detailed, so I would suggest that you read the Palace of Illusions first and then you go for Jaya, because then you will be able to understand it better. So yeah, this is the third one. Next up I have I don't know, I guess I have you know, I'm very picky about the authors that I choose. So yeah, the authors are quite fixed. Next book again is by Chitra Banerjee. So this book is known as The Forest of Enchantments. If you would have guessed it by the title, this is the retelling of Ramayana, and this is the retelling of Ramayana from the perspective of Sita. And again, I am just so mesmerized the way Chitra Banerjee tells us about the perspective of female characters. It's amazing, I tell you. And this book, The Forest of Enchantments, would not only take you through the ups and downs of emotions that Sita felt, but also the story of Urmila. I mean, she's again that lioness we have very easily ignored. This book would tell you more about Kekai, and I mean, yeah, it is more focused on the female characters and written by a female. Very feminine, but yeah, amazing at the same time. Feminine is actually amazing always. Anyways, so yeah, this is The Forest of Enchantments by Chitra Banerjee, and the character Ravan over here, Ravan just always confuses me. I mean, wherever I read about Ravan, it just always confuses me. The character, the way he is portrayed, you know, the way he is portrayed is quite different in all the books, and then you would get confused whether Ravan is evil or whether Ravan is good. But then you'll get to know that, you know, I mean, when you read a lot, you just realize the fact that there is nothing good or evil. There is no black and white. Almost 90% of the things in this world lie in the gray area. So I guess we should stop boxing things. Anyways, that's another discussion. So this is the fourth book. Moving on to the last suggestion that I have here is, it is again a series, and it is again by Amish Tripathi. So basically the series is known as the Ramchandra series. Till now 3 books are out. This is going to be a 4 to 5 book series as far as Amish Tripathi has revealed till now. All the books are not out yet. The 3 books that have been released so far is the first one, Ram, the scion of Ikshvaku. Second is Sita, the warrior of Mithila, and third is Ravan, and this book called Ravan. I guess there was a video I made on this. Ravan is this book is so amazing. This book is just so deep. It's just such a roller coaster, I tell you, that if you want to emotionally destroy yourself, you just have to go for this book. It's amazing. So yeah, this is pretty much with the suggestions that I had to make. If I find the PDFs of all these books, I would put it in the description. If you would like to know more about me as a booktuber or as a bookstagrammer, I will also drop the link for my Instagram in the description, so you can check that out as well, where that is the platform where I basically post the lines, or the facts or the things that strike me the most while reading some book. So yeah, you would find some very striking lines by some very well known authors over there. Why am I fumbling? I don't know. So yeah, this is pretty much. So yeah, bye bye, see ya.